What's going on? It's Justeeni here. Today, I'm going to be showing you some replays from the Zebasi Championship Polysseum. I managed to barely qualify for it this month from all those Zeb Villa Rush games that I did. So, yeah, unfortunately, though, um, it's on Drylands. That's what the people voted for. I voted Drylands second to last, and we still got Drylands. I'm a little salty about it, but it's still fine. Not as good for the content, but yeah, this is going to be part one of a certain amount of parts. I'm not going to spoil how many. I know exactly how many parts it's going to be because I've played all these games already. But yeah, this is the first part, and my opponent is Cabanos. You might recognize he's a very solid player, and because I was seeded quite low because I barely qualified, I'm going against a pretty solid player to start things off. And also they have host advantage. So let's get right into things though. So I've got a good spawn. You know, that kind of offsets their host advantage unless they have a good spawn as well. I go for a warrior-based opening because I want to get hunting pre-cap and just develop like crazy. But then already I'm denied my C3 effectively, which is a little annoying. But they don't walk onto it, which means they don't have good vision. I meet them over here. I've got a lot of stars, so writing's a very nice pickup. They kick me off this city, so I'm not working with a lot of cities, but I am going to be able to get roads. Now, I also had the chance to get a giant instead, if I wanted to. You can see I have enough population for the giant, but I figured get the roads, I can connect my city, so I can save some stars that way. And I just really need to take some initiative. I saw this chance to secure this village, so I decided it's good to take it this turn and then get the giant later. So yeah, now I connect. And you can even see by taking this village, I connect this city, getting me the giant anyway. So it only delays the giant by one turn, but it kind of secures me a lot of center control, which I really need here. They go for the siege, except they don't try to hold it. It's only 1 star per turn. It's absolutely not worth doing that. So they're just taking the free kill here. And then I get an explorer. It's not funneled, but that's fine. I could take a turn to funnel it, but I want this warrior to be a bit more active. I don't want to spend that time funneling, and I really want the vision right now. Get the Park of Fortune going. And yeah, just getting some units up. Kind of basic things. So I get climbing. The reason why I go climbing, not only for the vision, but I know that they're likely getting a giant here. It's Zebasi. It's pretty easy to get giants on any given city, unless it's just absolutely horrendous resources. So I'm getting climbing in preparation for that. If they pop a giant, my giant is a defense bonus, and I don't have to move it away. I can hit their giant, get some good damage, and if they try to hit me back, I have the defense bonus, so it's going to hurt. And if they try to clear my giant off, it's going to take 1 extra unit, and more of their units die. Actually, it might even be 2 extra units. I'm not 100% sure. But I know that instead of like 5 units dying, it's like 8 or something like that. Maybe even 9. So it's a lot more efficient on the mountain, and I can get this mountain too. Now they kick me off the village once again. Kind of annoying. But also one thing we can look at here, I know I'm pausing a lot, we can kind of see the village density. They likely have a village here, but beyond that, they don't actually have much to work with. Just 4 villages, at most. And so it's a 4-on-4. Now I go and start to pressure here. And yeah, I keep this warrior on the mountain to kind of block. We're both on 4 villages, and I'm forcing him to push, which means he can't spend as much on like roads and units this turn. Park of Fortunes. He gets me off that village. Still a 4-on-4, but I've got really good chances of reaching the village. I get a construction run, of course, which is amazing here. And yeah, like I was saying before, hitting that giant, roading, Now I'm gonna just smack. I see this ruin too, which is super nice. Border growth here, really good border growth on their part. And you can see again, climbing getting its value. I get an amazing trade against their giant. They get another giant though. And we're kind of fighting over this village, but I'm certainly gonna win the fight. I've got a lot of units. I'm even gonna get the ruin potentially, but I'm more focused on the village first. Just have a lot of blockers, and they have to deal with the siege at the same time. Just lots of pressure here. I get Gate of Power, get the Explorer, which I should have done earlier. But yeah, I have the vision now. Just kind of confirming what I already suspected. And yeah, they can unsiege, but it's pretty pricey, and their attention's completely diverted. So now it is a 5-on-4. And from this point, it's just a smooth and steady conversion. Because I got the construction ruin, I'm in a great spot already. I get just another explorer, gets me the lighthouse, and even more vision. I don't really need the vision so much as the lighthouse, which allows for a cheaper giant. Get a pop growth there. I was thinking about border growth, but it's not really worth it. The faster giant is better. And yeah, just kind of doing my thing. They're making units. We're both making units because that's what you do in Polytopia. You make units because if you don't make units, you lose the game. They're trying to pressure some more. They're really trying to pressure some more. They siege here. But I'm actually already prepared with the unsiege. It looks a little sketch, but I'm just going to sack some units. I even chop because I got forestry. And yep, nice unsiege. Their giant is completely dead. If they do another siege, then yeah, they can go ahead and do that. Waste another giant. I'm up in super units. Well, no, we're even in super units, but I will be up in super units because they're losing their super units pretty quickly. They go for another siege, this time very smartly, weakening this giant, so then if I try the same trick, it's not going to work. In fact, they can actually kill it, just barely. This costs all their units though, but I'm prepared with the border growth into the unsiege. There is no Justeeni here, by the way. I can't reach this tile, which is really sad. Like, I have the units, just not the ability to reach around, but push is good anyway, and because all their units are injured, they can't really re-siege at all. So I'm just securely holding on to my city advantage once again. I'm holding on to this. It's about to be a 6-on-4. Again, they're pressuring. I get Ori pre-cap, just gonna get even more giants. Like, it's really hard to even count how many giants I can get here. I get the Explorer just for the monument. It's 4 population total, 3 from the monument, 1 from the lighthouse. Definitely better than 1 star per turn here. Get the Eye of God. Now I'm just looking for another giant. And really, not much happens from this point. I have some vet-assigned units. They try to pressure. Oh, they have a knight. Oh, it's so scary. I've got all these riders. Whatever will I do? I'm only up 2 cities, and I can easily deal with these sieges. My economy is doing way better. I've got perfect information of the entire map. I know how to space my units and avoid any nonsense. I'm setting up these really good windmills. If I happen to get trade at some point, then yeah, if they get trade, I just respond with trade myself. And yeah, their knight gets literally no value. They get cloaks, cool. Those also get no value, and I win the game. So yeah, that's game 1. These are all going to be best 2 out of 3, so I'll go ahead and cut to the next match now. Alright, so this time, I've got host advantage, and I'm going to kind of go through the opening reasonably quickly. I get pretty unlucky, so I go with the rider opening. Ruin is pretty bad here. It's not what you want to see. My density is suffering quite a lot. I have 1 nearby village, but that's it. That's the Drylands experience for you. There could be a village like here. That's the only possible spot. If there's not a village there, I'm pretty sad. I get an explorer, I just need more vision. There's a village there, which means, yeah, there can't be one there. Explorer reveals everything anyway. My density is pretty bad. I try to step here. This is definitely greedy on my part. It's kind of more of desperation. They just kick me off, and they're keeping it too. I get roads just to make sure I can secure this. And because I'm about to capture 2 cities, I want to get the tech first. And then make some units. But I'm kind of just stuck at 4 cities. I'm definitely not winning this anytime ever. And I have to get another explorer because while I have a lot of info of the map, I don't have the info that I need. So I still need even more vision. So I see their capital. And I see they're most likely working with 4 cities as well currently. Soon to be 5. So yeah, 9 cities total on this small drylands map. Isn't that great, guys? Don't you guys love drylands? Yep, there's the village. I can't really win the village, so I'm just gonna win the ruin instead. And I'm distracting them here, so then they can't take away my ruin. And it also delays them. I get a construction ruin once again. So that gives me some hope, because that's gonna be insanely efficient here. I get climbing with the hopes that I can get another ruin. It is a little preemptive for me to get climbing. They go for the siege, kind of wasting their vet sword. I don't really agree with that play too much. And you can actually see they've got a city here, so they actually had even better density than I expected. Yeah, they're gonna have 6 cities. 6 cities to my 4. And I get another explorer. I know, I've gotten all explorers on all my cities, but this time I'm getting it so I can get the Eye of God. And I really need this because I really need a giant. I need to mount some sort of offensive if I really want to get anything done. Get the Park of Fortune here, so then I can set up another possible giant. And yeah, I'm gonna get this ruin as well. It's another reason why I've got climbing. Now they get their giant on the same turn as me. I get the vet warrior. And so I get a vet sword from the room, which is actually pretty nice for defense here. And things happen. I defend. But it's still just a 4 and 6 at the end of the day. And if you look at their resources, it's also quite phenomenal. So if we just kind of skip along, just for the sake of time, these games did last a pretty long time. I'm trying to play some defense. I get a nice border growth. I'm still down 2 cities. And I can even see, I can't quite tell what their economy is because I'm missing that one fog tile of information, which kind of sucks. I try to play defense. I play really efficiently here. I'm able to kill quite a lot of their giants, use some vet assigning, all that. Like, I even managed to get a super unit advantage at one point. But unfortunately, they're just popping out so many giants. This is what Zebasi does. Like, the city advantages can become pretty easy to convert by just spamming so many giants. So like, if you expect to just be down on cities and spam giants, it usually won't go too well unless you get the giants really fast. Because if the game draws out too long, this is what happens. Now border growth there. They siege. I'm able to unsiege everything just barely. Getting pressured here once again. They actually can't siege this though. And this is also being pressured really, really bad. Now I go for this unsiege, and then I wanted to do a Justeeni. This would have given me the comeback, but unfortunately I'm 1 population short, and at this point I just resign. Definitely a bit of a late resignation. I was hoping to outplay a little bit. I did get some outplays. I'll leave the replay in the description if you really want to see everything. But yeah, it's just too hard to fight this disadvantage. So I'll cut to the next match. All right, and now you can see, yeah, average Justeeni spawn. I don't have a host advantage though. I do have a lighthouse spawn, which actually works really well with this, but we'll see how things go because, well, this looks like it should be easily winning. Things get complicated already with the bad density. I go for warrior spam because I want to get the early giant. But then this second village sucks. Okay, so I was really hoping for an easy game 3, but the game's not willing to give it to me like that. So no text pre-cap because I just need to get this giant. I'm saving the potential windmill spot if I'm getting construction. But yeah, turn 5 giant. Park of Fortune here, getting a workshop. And I get climbing, so then I can get a good explorer. I've got a lot of stars. And I meet them. They're on a mountain ruin. They also have climbing. And yeah, that's kind of what makes this game a little less obvious of a win for me. Like you think, oh, I got a turn 5 giant, I win. No. They got ruins. If they just get a single pop ruin or a single star ruin, suddenly it's as if I never had an advantage in the first place. They get a ruin, which could have been anything. I wasn't score counting, I don't know. They're able to win this village. I get riding. My giant is really, really slow here because it's all the way in the back. And it looks like they're just going to be able to hold on just fine. I'm making some riders. I'm really just hoping to win a ruin contest. They already have giant of their own on turn 9. So they're doing pretty well for themselves. I'm stuck on 3 cities. But I can do this snazzy play. And now I'm actually winning this village, just barely. I rode over here to hopefully steal another city. And you can actually see, based on the cities they have, this is already a 5-on-4, soon to be a 4-on-5 after I take this, which, yes, 9 villages on a Drylands map. They go for a really snazzy push, and yes, they have construction already. Again, those ruins. But the push doesn't go their way, and I get an Explorer ruin, which kind of sucks here. Except it doesn't actually get the lighthouse, which is pretty nice. So if I can get that final lighthouse, I'm sitting pretty. Otherwise, that ruin effectively gave me like 1 pop and then this pop, which I was getting anyway. But I get this Explorer. I'm just hoping, please. And I get it. Okay, so I've got Eye of God. And I save it here. I could get a giant, but I can get a giant easily here anyway. I'd rather save it somewhere more useful. And you can see some more construction stuff. This is really smart by the opponent, using a windmill to upgrade this, and you'll see why. They also obviously get an Explorer. Like, that's why you upgrade a city that's being captured like that. But you can see, because I don't have any farms near, these were opponent farms. Now the city produces 0 star per turn. It's as useless as can be. And I have to deal with the giant up here, but luckily I have Eye of God. I can manage everything. It is a 5-on-4, but with this really horrible city, it doesn't feel like a 5-on-4. And again, the ruin difference, we've seen what, 4 ruins, because they also got the vet sword here, compared to my 1, because there's 5 ruins on a small dry map. And this really isn't easy, because my city advantage doesn't really mean much. I literally am making nothing from the city. All that the city is doing is raising my tech prices, so I'm up a city, but it really doesn't feel like it. They're pressuring here, sieging. And I'm able to like deal with all this, but it's pretty bad. They siege with a 1 HP warrior too, super annoying. Siege there. Obviously I have a plan for this city. I can't Justeeni it though. Actually, can I? No, I cannot Justeeni it. I'm 1 unit short. So I just don't bother with it. And yeah, I can unsiege. And I need plenty of units. Now the city finally produces stars. It just costed me some extra to even get it going. But I'm hoping to pressure, instead of me getting sieged all the time, maybe I can start to siege the opponent. And yeah, I just kill this rider. They can't siege with the giant because I'm just gonna kill their giant. But my giant has to defend because the city is just really vulnerable. It can be attacked at multiple angles. And my giant has to babysit it because these units are kind of cut off because of their giant here. That's really well positioned. It's very much a thorn in my side. And yeah, again, like my city advantage kind of feels more like a burden than anything. It's just really hard to deal with all the pressure. And so they go for another siege with the warrior denying even more income, but their units are quite vulnerable. But they do also kill my giant, so it is still an overall good siege for them. They siege here, which is definitely a mistake because that giant was super annoying. I can use some vet assigned riders to deal with that. And you're gonna see a lot of vet assigning in this game. And I mean like a lot. And on both sides too. Like lots and lots of vet assigning. So we see another giant. More shenaniganery. And we're even in super units after all that clutter and trading and absolute nonsense. And now I can finally start to fight back. Now I'm sieging. I vet here. Yes, another veteran rider. They siege me back, but the siege isn't as good. It's only making 2-star per turn. But they're pressuring here, and how do I deal with that? They have a vet sword, they've got a giant, they've got lots of units. I don't actually have a way of dealing with that. I put the giant on the mountain so it can play some defense. They can't chip at the giant really efficiently anymore. And once again, yeah, another vet rider, by the way, and another siege with the warrior. These warrior sieges are absolutely pivotal here. They make another warrior, which just gets another siege. So I feel like that's a mistake. Now I get forestry, chopping these because I'm just acknowledging they're taking it. So I'm going to make it as useless as possible for them. The problem is, and I kind of know this already, like there's not anything I can do about it, but this windmill is now going to be useful for them once again. It's going to immediately give them the level 3. I can't stop that, but I can stop them from getting a future giant, which is why I get forestry and chop. And forestry in general is useful. I border growth, so now I've got some long-term giant potential. I chop some of my giant potential, but I still can get another giant here. I'm not too silly. This is a live game, but I know how to do math. Another vet, by the way. There's been quite a few vet riders already, but again, it's only going to get crazier with the vet assigns. They're chipping away at this giant so that I can't re-siege easily, which is pretty smart here. Another vet, guys. And then some more stuff happens. And yeah, now also I'm down in cities. And again, like before, this city sucked for me, but this city's really good for them. It's really like connected. It gives them a backline to work with. So now I'm just strictly down in cities, when before, when I was up in cities, it didn't actually feel like an advantage at all. And now, like, the tables kind of turned there. Like, if we look at eco, for the sake of time, I'm not even going to count it, but like, you can tell that they're up in eco and they're sieging. I'm making 14 stars this turn. It's looking pretty bad, but super unit count is even, and they've used a lot of their giant potential. I know in these Zebasi games you can make a ton of giants, but we have traded so many super units this game. And again, another siege. Really, really annoying. They're able to defend here just fine, so I don't have anything. I just take out a free warrior. Like, we're just trying to inch out any sort of value. And again, they're up in city, so I really need to play efficiently. I get a siege here. And once again, I need these sieges so bad because they've got that city advantage. So if I'm not sieging this, they're just going to outproduce me like crazy. So I need to keep the pressure up. I do this just under time pressure. I didn't have enough time to think about everything in my turn. Which, yeah, that's another factor for both of us. We're both under quite a bit of time pressure. They are now kind of creating a bit of a standstill here. I really wanted to use that mountain, so it's kind of annoying they took it instead. Going for some more kills. Even more rider kills. I don't siege this time. I'm trying to defend this rider with 2 out of 3 kills. I get Org, the upgrade for the giant, and I upgrade here. City Wall. That's right, City Wall. Why City Wall? Well, because this game's going to draw out for quite a bit, and I need to play efficiently. And resources aren't going to be good for efficiency. This city keeps getting sieged. If I get resources, the city, like, yeah, produces 1 more star per turn and I get my instant payoff, but it's not going to matter a lot if it keeps getting sieged and produces nothing. And there's a vet sword there I have to deal with as well. And you're going to see the city wall is actually really good. Already showing its value, avoiding the siege. And yeah, now, once again, more trading, but this trade's really good for me because I'm up in super units. And they've got to sacrifice units to kill that giant. Now, once again, more rider kills. I've got a lot of vet assigning going on still. They go for the siege, but it's a pretty pricey one. Lots of injured units because of the warrior with the wall bonus. They have to sack even more units to weaken the giant, but they can't quite kill it. They get knights. Okay, so at this point I'm just lost, right? They've got a unit advantage. They've got a city advantage. They have knights now to deal with my riders. It's going to be really hard to form any sort of attack. All I have is just 2 extra giants and one of them's injured. But you're going to see knights being one of the most useless investments they could have made here. That was 3 vets in a single turn, by the way. Obviously, I have those vets like waiting to promote, but still. Forcing a really awkward unsiege. They could have done that in a better order, but they wanted to save the knight. I think that's why they did that. And again, they're still sieging here. They want to deny the income, but see how much more expensive it is? Their units are just getting injured. And yeah, now they've got 3 knights on the board. And again, they're making more units every turn. And I have to play around the knights. But I'm going in with this giant. And again, where's their giant? Where is it? I'm going to heal this. They can chain it. That's fine. Gets to 2 out of 3. They go for the kill like that. I believe they bet that, right? No, they don't. Okay, that was a misplay on their part. Again, live game time pressure. So I siege with the giant, and I've got a lot of stars to work with, so what can I do with those stars? I can get knights myself. Or I can get, like, construction, but construction only gets me, like, 1 giant here. I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, it gets me 2 giants. 2 giants isn't terrible. But I opted for something a little spicier. Strategy and diplomacy. So there's a lot of reasoning behind this. So first off, diplomacy. Why am I getting a cloak? Well, I'm expecting them to unsiege. I think that they have some sort of plan, right? They're gonna unsiege, and then this is a perfect cloak target. And yes, they can like use night chains, but the star trade, I'm gonna be stealing like 5 stars, so that's a 10-star swing per cloak that I'm sending at them, and it forces a night commitment every time to deal with this. I'm even gonna have a cloak on the mountain, so they like use some unit HP as well. It's gonna be good trades if I can get that going, and also any unit train that gets damaged. And then the other big thing is the defenders. Actually, the strategy is actually even more important than the diplomacy, not only because of this insane wall bonus here. Defenders are insanely good with city walls, but you're also going to see some really, really insane anti-knight value. Also, they don't unsiege. I think they had a way to unsiege. Someone in the comments will probably mention it. But again, these live games, it's tough to find. But now I'm up in cities. This cloak seems kind of useless now, but it will actually still do something. And these defenders are going to just shut the opponent down completely. I killed their last knight, by the way, so I don't have to play around any chains anymore. They go for the siege. And, you know, they can kill this defender. That's why most people think defenders suck, is, look, they lost no units and completely crippled my defender. It's now useless, right? Well, let's see. So I unsiege again, and I'm just sending more defenders up. Kill this warrior. And I send more defenders up. Just making a ton of defenders. How can they break through this? Well, I mean, they can brute force with riders, and that's exactly what they're doing. Look at that. They killed it. No units lost. But I just keep sending defenders up. And just look at this. All of these defenders spaced beautifully. And these riders are completely unreachable. They have to dedicate all of their damage towards these defenders. Because they're completely zoned out. They cannot do anything. And I'm advancing my riders. I don't advance all of them. Again, live game time pressure stuff. I can't think and try to play around night chains and stuff because they can break through. It's just costly. So I have to still acknowledge that. They get mining, trying to build their eco up. And again, I'm just going to keep zoning them out with the defenders. I even hit with a defender now. Vet Rider. Send these back. Oh, what about that cloak that I mentioned earlier? Bam! Hits the capital. And they can't actually chain it because of the way that they placed their own units. And now I finally get construction all this time later because I've got so many stars to work with. And they're zoned out again, the defenders, completely locking them out of the game. They're able to chain, but it's pretty rough. And after 31 turns, where I was in a rough middle game, up a city, but with one of the worst city advantages you could find, and then even being down a city, after they get knights, which seems like it would be the finishing blow, it's actually quite the opposite. It's their losing decision here. And I manage to win 2-1, round 1, by the way, of this double elimination tournament. Best 2 out of 3. So, for the sake of time, this is going to be the entire part. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Like and sub, and have a good one.